Edward.
You win.
So today we're going to be looking at Destiny, but rather than the usual, oh, we're stuck in beta, so I'm just going to be showing you, like, the Cosmodrome for, it's like
the whole
18 million
game.
miles. Yeah, we've got the whole game, and I've gotten pretty far into it. I haven't quite finished it yet, but I figured that for this particular video, let's show off Venus. So believe it or not, this is Venus. Now, according to the lore of the game, for people that weren't paying attention, it's like, okay, so humanity encountered this, godlike being called the Traveler, and the Traveler just accelerated.
Big white ball thing.
Yep, a big white ball thing, yeah. So the Traveler accelerated the development of humanity, human lifespan tripled, they spread out all over the solar system, they started terraforming the hell out of everything. So what we're looking at is Venus at sunrise. So what happened was humanity terraformed this place, so it was basically Eden. It was a garden world, but when the collapse came and quote-unquote the darkness went and, basically pushed humanity almost to the brink of extinction, all that, it's like wonderful human scientific advancement fell by the wayside. So what you're looking at are the ruins of a Venusian city after centuries of neglect, with Venus starting to go back to being like the boiling hothouse that it used to be before humanity fixed it up. So it's still breathable. I mean, I don't require an oxygen suit or anything like that, but it's been completely taken over by the enemy, in this case the Vex and the Fallen, and I'm not going to spoil the story, so I'm not going to play through a story mission or anything like that. Instead, I'm on what's now called Patrol mode, which in the beta they called Explore. I don't know why they decided to change it, but they did. You're still doing exactly the same thing, which is running around doing whatever you want. So in this particular case, since I took a bounty earlier saying do 6 missions on Venus, I'm going to do at least 1 mission.
You sort of remind me of like MMO style missions where it's just, you're looting stuff from enemies, sort of, they die and they drop stuff and you've got to find 10 of them, or
yeah, exactly. In this case, yeah, it's like
unique character.
It's your grocery checklist of killing things, or it's your fetch quest where you got to go and gather things. It's like either way, yeah, it's very MMO-esque. In this particular case, you're doing it for the gear, you're doing it for the XP, you're doing it to fulfill the mission objectives, but you're also doing it to build up faction points and stuff like that, which you can eventually, use for getting better gear. But I'll grab the first mission here.
These
Okay,
dark
the little antenna is going
creatures
down.
stand
Shoot to
between
kill, so this
our
is just a kill
people
mission. Take
and
down
the
any vets in the
stars.
area. Okay, this one is pretty
That
straightforward.
orbit will pay for
So
their
I will
elimination.
just summon my handy-dandy sparrow. So I love these sparrow things.
Have you got a new vehicle? The original?
Yeah, actually, this is not the standard issue sparrow that you get at the beginning of the game. I actually ran around looting golden chests in the Cosmodrome, and when you got all 5 of them, you got like a deluxe sparrow, and that's the one I'm scooting around in right now. It's much faster.
There are ones that the enemies have that actually.
Oh yeah, that
weapons.
can actually shoot, yeah. Which, if you take care with the enemies, you can't unlock those. You can hijack them, Grand Theft Auto style, but you can't spontaneously generate them.
So you never get a sparrow that can shoot. That's kind of disappointing.
No, but you, like I said, you can hijack them off of other people and then ride around on them for the duration of your mission. Oh, look at that! I'm already up to like 35%. Gotta look for more people to kill to keep this going.
I mean, from what I've played of this, the enemy types have been identical to what we saw in the beta.
Okay.
Do they get any more varied as you?
Yes, they do. Okay.
That's good.
Okay. Nothing saying that I have to stick around here to kill the enemies, so I will just go up here since I'm getting somewhat familiar with the Venus map now. I probably should not be using my sparrow to travel through the sewers, but I'm going to anyway, which is what I've been doing.
I didn't see any signs.
Yeah, I'm just getting kind of familiar with this map, so I knew that there was that secret entrance there. Not so secret. Okay, so now we've got the Fallen fighting Vex. I'll just pull out a few of these guys over here. Magic. Oh, see, there's the Vex. Now, because these are robots, Bungie took the illogical assumption that, like, a headshot is not going to take a robot out. So instead, you've got to go for the white dot in their chest. And shoot it, and, it's like, yeah, they'll go down. Alright, I'm all over there. I'll just switch out to the sniper rifle so I can kill them.
playing as right now?
Right now, I am playing as a warlock. It's what I played in the beta, and I decided, you know what, I really like the Nova Bomb, so I continued to play with the warlock.
The Warlock was the one
And I died by sniper.
I didn't
Oh,
play.
death by sniper.
In the alpha, I did the Hunter,
Hmm.
and then with the beta, I went with the Titan. And so far, I've stuck with the Titan because that was a lot
The-
more fun than the Hunter.
I mean, all of the classes are actually pretty worthy in their own right. It depends on what you want to do. One of the things that I do like about this game is that just because you pick a particular class, it does not lock you into a set of weapons. So,
Yeah.
like, even though the hunter is supposed to be the guys that are all about precision, and so, you know, in theory, the sniper rifle is really made for precision shooters. I like the Nova Bomb on the Warlock, but I still enjoy sniping. So
Mix
I
and
just went with the
match
sniper
as you
rifle as
wish.
my secondary weapon. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, conversely, the Titan is probably the guy that's best suited to take advantage of the rocket launcher as a heavy weapon. But I like what the rocket launcher does. So, you know, it's like I'm running around with one of those as well. Like, you know, this
Does
one
the
over
Warlock have like a clearing sort of attack? Because that's what I liked about the Titan. Is
here. Yeah,
when, like,
the Warlock does.
when you
There's-
start to get
yeah, there's only the one guy
Warlock, you
here.
just press L1 or R1 and
Yeah. There's only one guy here, so it's a bit of overkill, but I'll do it anyway. Super attack, boom, boom. And he's dead. I mean, had that been a room full of enemies, that would have just cleared everybody. But since there was only the one guy there,
and you're level.
I am level 19, which is basically one level away from the soft cap that the game has. You can actually gain levels higher than that, but to gain levels beyond 20, you need to get special gear, and you need to collect a new in-game currency called light. And the more light you get, the more your level goes up. So basically, level 20, you just get there through XP. Beyond level 20, you need light and gear to push you up.
You gotta loot.
So far, the highest that I've seen, even though we're only 3 days into the game, are level 24 guys running around, which means that they're probably either reviewers like myself who are powering through the game, or they're just guys with no lives that actually cleared out 3 days, you know, told the boss at work that they were sick, and then just, you know, sat down and powered through. So I finished the one mission. I'm going to go back to the previous area and take another mission from one of those mission-giving beacons.
Is the light stuff just drop off enemies, or like how do you get it and how rare is it? Do you know?
It's pretty rare. Like you only have to worry about it once you hit level 20.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it's like a special kind of loot. So you're really only going to be getting it from doing special missions, completing strikes, which are sort of like low-level raids. I don't think that they necessarily drop when you're just running around in patrol mode like I am, just, you know, like doing whatever. But we'll have to see, since, you know, it's like I myself haven't actually hit level 20 yet.
This is one thing that sort of confused me, is like you see other people running around
Yeah.
with you on Venus right now, but you have no way of really interacting with them.
No.
These
And
dark
there's, even if they
creatures.
were doing the same thing you did, there's no way to sort of be like, hey, let's go do this
Okay,
together.
well, no,
Dead
okay, there
orbit
are
will
provisions
pay for
for that.
their
It's like, okay, here's the way it works. Basically, even if you've picked like a story mission, when you get first dropped down in the world, it's like a big common world, so you see everybody running around doing their own thing. Once you actually get into specific mission areas, you get put into an instance, so it's either just you or
Yeah,
whoever
I've
you've
seen
partied
other
up
players
with.
sort
Yeah.
of disappear.
Yeah,
I
when
go
they
into
disappear like that, that means that they were on a story mission and they're now being dropped into the instance for that mission. So what will happen is, and I've actually done this a couple of times now during the review, is if you're on a mission and you happen to be running around with some guy and it's pretty obvious that you're both doing the same mission, you can invite them or they can invite you. And once they're in the group, then voice chat options open up, assuming that they're using a microphone, and if they're not, then you can't.
Is that simple to do though, or do you have to like how easy is it to invite them?
Oh, it's very easy. I can, you know, sort of start the process right now. I'll just run over here, try and get close to these dudes over here, whatever it is that they're doing.
Because this game seems like it would be way more fun
Yeah, it is.
if you do it with people.
So yeah, these guys are running around. If I want to invite them, I just push down on the right stick, option to inspect, and I can invite the fire team. That's all I have to do.
I mean, how did you even figure that out? Because at no point did it tell you or tell me Like, do this. to invite
I'm not
people.
actually sure how I figured this out because it's like I learned that in the beta and I was already doing it in the beta, so
You're
I
just-
didn't
you're
really
just
have to think of I mean.
It's a true Destiny wizard.
So when I jumped into it here, I was just like, okay, I know exactly what to do. And so yeah, I've been playing with friends, I've been playing with strangers, and you're right. This game is a lot like Borderlands in that it's like some people that say, you know what, I've played Borderlands, I don't understand what the big deal is with that game. Usually, if you ask them, did you play by yourself, they'll say yes. And this game is similar to that, where it's like if you're playing with friends and the teams are fire teams of 3, or for the bigger raids, fire teams of 6. When you're playing with a bunch of people like that, then like any game, all of a sudden becomes a lot more fun when you're running around with people and you're chatting with them and you're shooting the breeze and
Yeah.
it's like all that other stuff. I mean, I've used this to play with my friends who are like living off in rural Quebec, or my friends who are like living in Norway. It's like we just get together where we agree he's like 6 hours ahead of me, so it'll be like, okay, so if I play at 6 p.m., it'll be like midnight for you, and we just hop on, and because I'm a much higher level than he is, it's like I just help him along with his
Carry him
mission,
through the
and
game.
it's a lot more fun than just a phone call where it's like, so what have you been up to? Now it's like, what have you been up to? And, oh, that guy just headshotted you. Aha, I'm going to dance over your corpse.
Have you done much of the PvP yet?
Yes, actually, I've been playing the PvP pretty extensively on and off. It's, actually, let's just hop into that. I'll just abandon the subjective. It doesn't matter. I'll go to orbit.
Such a quitter.
Yep.
Yeah, because
And
in the
we'll
beta
just-
they only had the one mode.
No, okay, I've unlocked all the modes.
You have to
You've
unlock
got
them?
Yes, it's really simple though. It's like you play a mode once, and then once you play that mode, the next mode unlocks, and then once you play that mode, the next mode unlocks. That's all you have to do. So here are the modes right now. You've got
Control's the one they had in the beta, which
Yeah.
is basically like domination for
Yeah,
COD fans
exactly.
out there.
Yep, and then you've got Clash, which is just 6 versus 6 team deathmatch, and then you've got Rumble, which is just free for all, everybody against everybody else, and then you've got this thing over here called Skirmish, where it's like 3 versus 3, and the emphasis is like on it's like team-based tactics and all that sort of thing. You're not going to be very effective if you run around on your own. You've got to stick around with the other 2 people. You've also got to revive them, because if you can revive them when they die, that denies kill points to the other team. So it's in your best interest when somebody goes down to revive them, because if they respawn by themselves,
So more
that's
like
points that the enemy gets.
stick together squad battles.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just hop back into patrol mode over here, and we'll just show you 1 second. There we are, orbiting in Venus, and now the ship is going to take off. But what I'm finding right now while I'm playing the game, I mean, I haven't finished writing my review yet. I'm still in the middle of it, but at this point, I mean, since I'm at level 19, the end is in sight. I'm on Mars. I'm like doing the last set of missions. I'm pretty confident in saying that this is actually a good game. I would say that for people that were expecting that this was going to fundamentally change the way they look at gaming forever, this is not the game that's going to do that. So, it's like if you are on that hype train going like, warp factor 9, then you're going to hit a mountain and like, crash and burn, and you're just going to be so massively disappointed with what you've got. But if you're looking for, a game with fairly lengthy single-player campaign, quote-unquote, on the single-player, because it's never actually a single-player game. The single-player campaign will take anywhere between 12 and 20 hours to finish, and that's if you're reasonably trying to power through. Then there's the PvP, which is extensive, and that'll keep people playing until the next expansion, or until November rolls along, November of next year, when the next when Destiny 2 comes out or whatever. And then on top of that, there's the Diablo aspect of doing the missions again and again for loot and gear. They've got
Yeah,
strikes.
there is a heroic level for every mission.
And there are strikes and there are raids. There's this thing called the Vault of Glass, which is supposed to be the first big raid in the game. That's not even open yet. Bungie is going to open that next week. They're giving everybody a chance to get to level 20 first, because apparently level 20 is required for this thing. And it's actually a raid that's so big that it's divided into 2 parts.
Wow.
So the raid is open for the raid actually resets its progress after 1 week. So what will happen is people will get their fire teams together, and they will get to, they will do the raid. They will get to a certain point in the raid. The raid will give them a checkpoint, and then they can log out of the game, and the progress will be saved so that they can try again the next night from where they left off, as opposed to World of Warcraft, where it's like, this is a 24-man raid, and it's going to take 8 hours to do, so everybody make sure that you've got the entire day booked off from work, because we can't have anybody slacking.
We're trying to take those MMO aspects and make them a little more accessible.
Yeah, they understand that people have lives, and that you might not be able to devote, 4 to 6 hours on a single raid, so they've broken it up into parts.
I mean, it seems like that late game content is going to be pretty key for the success of this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Diablo.
You've only been playing a few days, you're already almost level 20.
Yeah.
So it's the stuff that's going to keep you playing once you get past that.
I mean, one of the most interesting things about this game is how integrated everything is. Because, you, especially before you hit level 20, you're getting XP no matter what you do. So I've been in the middle of PvP and shooting people, and all of a sudden I level up in PvP because my kills in PvP actually count towards the level of my character. And then, it's like at the end of PvP when they're tallying up, it's like who rocked and who sucked, and they give out rewards. They've given out, rare and uncommon weapons and armor in PvP that I look at it and it's like, oh my god, I can actually use this in the main campaign, and so I'll just immediately equip it. And it's like vice versa. You'll get decent guns that you can use in the campaign mode that you can carry over into PvP. So it's not like it's two separate modes and you've got your PvP character and then you've got your campaign character. I mean, that's actually one of the most interesting things about this game. It has not opened up yet. Again, they're saving it, but during beta there was an event that was called the Iron Banner.
Yes.
And the way that Iron Banner works is all of the stats of your character carry over. Because right now the way that it works when you go into PvP and it's normal Iron Crucible stuff is everybody that enters, their stats get flattened. So it doesn't matter what level you are, it doesn't really matter what kind of gear or armor you have, everything has been balanced out so that even a level 1 guy has a fair shot at taking out a level 20 guy.
But you still have your abilities. That stuff carries
You do have your abilities, yeah, that stuff carries over, but even then it's like, the balance has been tweaked. However, with Iron Banner, what they do there is that they take all the limiters off. So if you're a level 20 guy going up against a level 1 person, you are going to annihilate them in one shot, yeah. Because all of your in-game stats are now live for PvP. So in a weird sort of way, it almost seems like for the casual Call of Duty guys who just want to kill, die, respawn, repeat, they'll probably stick to Iron Crucible where it's like, a level playing field. But for the hardest of the hardcore, those are the guys who are going to be playing the Iron Banner, because you'll have to go on those incredibly complicated raids to get the uber gear, which will make you unstoppable in Iron Banner. And the Iron Banner guys are going to clean up. Or the raid guys with the raid endgame loot, those guys are going to clean up in the Iron Banner. Nobody's going to be able to stand up to them.
Is that going to be a persistent mode, or are they going to do it like they did in the beta where it's timed?
Yeah, it's timed. Yeah. It's timed. It's going to be more frequent when it finally does unlock, and it's going to be open for more than just 2 hours. But it's not something that's going to be open all the time. But yeah, it's just one more of those things that shows it's like there's a lot of interaction between the different modes of the game. So you can just play the single-player campaign and completely ignore all the other aspects. You can, just happily do PvP and ignore everything else. You can do a mix of both, or you can be the MMO guy going what's the end-game gear, and make that your goal to play the game. So there's actually quite a lot for people to do in this game. They just have to decide how they want to play it. And, keep in mind that despite what it's like the hype train might say, or what Activision might be trying to get you to believe, this is not the greatest game in the world, but it is a pretty good game that's off to a pretty good start. And I just and I've been having fun with it. Yeah, we've got 2 expansions that are on the way. I think the first one is coming in December, but other than that, this is Destiny. This is Venus. Finally, you can see it, and I guess we're out.
Bye.
So, see you guys.